All right, welcome everybody to another episode of Higher Intelligence. We do this every Friday at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tricky is not with us today. Sending our love, Tricky. So we got Rick, we got Crypto Stoner. What's going on, boys?
What happened? Well, I'm just looking at a lot of red bubbles right now, to be honest.
Should we start there? Just go right into it? No, I'm kidding.
No, I was. It's just it's real red. No, it's been a great week, minus obviously chart stuff, but I do feel like you guys know I work with a lot of projects now and just kind of partner with a lot of different all of you guys, and so kind of seeing everyone building and focusing on the right things, in my opinion. So it's been really really good week, productive week, even though the charts haven't been great. And that kind of just always goes to remind us that if we're building and we're building a business and a brand, it doesn't matter what the charts look like on the daily. We know where we're going in the long run. So it's good to be here today, though. Happy Friday, y'all.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, bro. Happy Friday.
What is up, Rick?
Bro, what a week. Really, there's been so much going on. We'll get into it, though. The Aura token we have to talk about. Damn, there's just so much that happened this week, man. So, yeah, we'll pull up a couple of stories that I think will be very interesting for everyone to talk about. Also, guys, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. What's up, Zen? What's up, Ragadev? I'll see you guys. But all good, bro. We was doing a mint today with Nana the Ape. So it's been an interesting day.
That project. Mama Bear, you're not getting audio? Is everyone else getting audio? Ragadev, Zen, are you guys getting audio over there?
Hopefully, no audio.
Hopefully the audio is working. Zen Zen with the Solana Deads PFP. I like it. There you go. Let's start there. Let's start with a quick update on Solana Deads, and then we'll roll into some charts and some bubble maps and some current events.
I did check audio real quick for us as well. It's working for me on the live that I watched. Just so we confirm that side's working. Yeah, we also. There he is.
Peanut, what's up,
legend?
What is going on, you guys?
What's up, bro? How are you?
Dude, I'm doing a whole lot better. We're here Friday. What's going on? 420. 428.
I know.
428. I forgot to smoke.
Standard stoner fare. We started a few minutes late, but we're here, so that's okay.
Okay, perfect. So I'm right here at the right time.
No, yeah, you showed up like a minute or two after we started, so you're good, man. You're good. We're trying to get everything lined up here, but so we're just kind of getting started here. Let's quickly, Crypto, if you're up for it, pull up some bubble maps and
I got you.
Just kind of talk through what's going on. And let me move my stuff out of the way. Boom. Then we'll make yours bigger. Boom. There we go. Wow. Holy smokes. That is a lot of red.
I knew stuff got nuked, but I didn't realize it was getting this nuked out there with everything going on.
So, yeah. And, somebody just...
Nuked might be the wrong word in today's news.
True. A little blow, maybe.
So for all y'all that don't know what's going on, because I've seen in a couple of community and group chats what the hell's going on. For those of you guys that may not know, we had a lot of numbers and inflation data come in this week, and it was actually really good, which is why we were seeing everything hold up. The only thing that happened yesterday was that oil barrels went up by $6 a barrel. And a lot of people didn't notice that, but a lot of macro analysts were noticing obviously oil prices going up, and within 12 hours of that being announced by people, there was the attack from Israel into Iran. Obviously, that is what nuked our charts so far. Oh, I forgot we're not using that one. That's what pulled our charts out from under us. And so I'll scroll down a little bit so we can see numbers and percentages. But overall, I gotta say, we're still over 100,000 on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I think a lot of this, as much as some people, might not like to hear this, it really is manipulation, in my opinion. This is the kind of things that we talk about when we say that there's going to be a black swan event. We've been kind of preemptively talking about how the market has been really resilient on the low sides, and we've been holding strong. And that, if there was a black swan event, that we would see a large drop in our bags and our charts. So in my opinion, a lot of this is still a manipulation move. It's a scare tactic. People don't like war. Obviously, we talked a little bit about it before the live today about how that oil price is going up is very interesting, right? Before those kind of things happen, and you see that these markets move based on news that we don't have answers to. So people were wondering why oil was so far up, and then all of a sudden there's things like this. So I think we're in a temporary downtrend because of this. I think whatever is going to happen with this in the next few days is our black swan event, in my opinion, on the overall market. So whatever is happening right now, we're going to see a lot of probably downtrend. We're going to keep testing bottom resistances on the Bitcoin side, especially right now. Through the weekend, we could see more sell-off. We could even see something into the 15, 20% range kind of thing, because it could escalate over the weekend. We know markets are also closed on the weekends, so things happen a lot of the times when the stock market's closed. But obviously, crypto gets hit by that. Over the weekend, we've also seen a lot of moves coming in. Rick and I were talking about it last week about greed was creeping up on the greed charts too. Well, we hit extreme greed on Monday this week, on Tuesday this week. So, I like I said, I hate saying it, but it's kind of how the world works. If you really think about it, we were in extreme greed. People started taking profits, and then there's a war scare, and that's what that sell-off is. It's that chart pattern, the economic pattern. It's very interesting. I don't think that we're offset into any.
I don't think it's a war scare, bro. I think there is actually war going on, but yeah, like World War scare. I get what you mean.
Yeah, no, and here's the thing that I bring up to people in that sense. Iraq and Iran and the surrounding areas have been at war since before we were born. And, they're always at war almost every day. We have friends from Israel. It's never stopped in their entire life. So, yeah, they are at war. It's a never ending war, but it affects our charts a lot of the times in these short tanks in the market. So we see these crazy sell-offs. And then all of a sudden, I feel like a lot of the times we hear the news get quiet again, right? Like they're still going at war. Even when they're not doing these big attacks, they're still always fighting. So I understand the gravity of the situation, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm making light of what's happening. It's terrible that the powers that be use these means to shake the world up or to get power somewhere else. That's a lot of the times that's what's really happening too. But the economics people that follow these things, they see sometimes that some of this seems preemptive, like something goes up in a price and then all of a sudden there's a war that happens. So somebody with money knew something because they moved money prior. It's very sad that this is the kind of world we live in. But the silver lining is we know what we're here for. We are trying to take back our buying power as people, right? So in the crypto sense, in the Web3 decentralized sense right now, this is where we continue to stack. This is where we continue to hold the bags. If you're dollar cost averaging, you start putting some in on the down trot, watch over the weekend and see how it goes. But a lot of this too can scare people out of their investments. So make sure you guys, hold your convictions. It's not financial advice. If you need the money, you need the money. But If you are investing and you're comfortable with where your investments were 5 days ago, there's no reason to panic here. We will be back up and we will recover from this.
So I haven't exactly been seeking out news. So let me kind of preface this. But it seems to me that there's not as much coverage as there ought to be, given what some people are claiming is the start of World War III. And maybe that's just me, because I try to, I don't know, insulate myself from just all the political rhetoric and all the, the back and forth, because, right, I mean, news these days just seems like it's fucking just made up, like The Onion type stuff.
Yeah. We call it noise. I
There's
usually call it noise.
A lot of noise, and it's hard to cut through all of that noise, right? To see what is really happening and why is it really happening. But when I go to like just MSN.com, I'm like, there's not a whole as much coverage as I would expect if we're on the brink or the verge of World War III. It's crazy. I mean, what's happening is terrible, is horrific. I feel terribly for the people that have to live through this and deal with this. But I don't know. I thought there'd be more coverage of it going on, and maybe I'm just not in the right space for it.
I don't think that we all. Oh yeah, and I'm the same way. I isolate myself. Overall, I check not headlines. I check a couple of media sources I trust to see what's kind of going on, especially if markets are moving up or down heavily. And what is the word? I guess I lost my train of thought. I was going to say about it, but it all comes back to it's all temporary. These things are noise. So like even that's what I was going to say about the war stuff. If we were going to a world war, the Taiwan stuff and China stuff calmed down. The trade talks with China and America went really good this week. So there's so many other things that are going well, minus the Israel-Iran thing. And even in news with Zelensky, I think Zelensky's like stepping down. They're going to have a new person over there. That's what I heard this week. I haven't done a lot of research, but they were part of the peace talks over there, him being out of office and someone else. So if those kind of things happen and we're seeing these peace talks in other places, again, as much as it sucks, it shows me that there's just a lot of noise in the short term. And, it's wild, but the World War III stuff, I see World War III trending on X, I feel like every 2 to 3 weeks, to be honest. And, it just depends on what bad things happening on there. So I don't think we're on the verge of World War III. I do think that it's terrible what's happening, but a lot of it is over minerals, over oil and things like that. So once those things fizzle out, I think we'll be back on. I do think that we're still in that July range. I don't know how Rick feels about that. How are you feeling on the month or on the rest of the year from this, Rick?
I think that we're going to see a bit of a pullback here. I've been watching the news and just trying to get like a little bit of insight on the whole situation there. And from what I can see is this has never happened before. Like what's happening right now is like a first. And for that reason, it's a little bit worrying, obviously. But I do think, obviously, we will rebound off this. I think that I've maintained this whole time that we'll chop until, obviously, I said without a Black Swan event, but I said we'll chop until September, and then Q4 will be our time. Because 4th of July is just around the corner. Like, people take a week off there. Like, it's not like people are hard into crypto. I feel like as people get back to their desks, and I know it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but there's just a different vibe about like grinding, like grind season. Like I'm going to grind this out now 7 days a week. We've got NFT NYC coming up. We've got a lot of these IRL events, and I just think that's just a recipe to chop unless we don't hear like some crazy news. Because this whole thing with Israel, like Israel's gone in, they've killed like all the top scientists. Like Israel's done some crazy, like some crazy stuff over the last couple of days. So it's never been seen before. So I don't know like what the retaliation from this could be. But at the same
Do we
time,
know what prompted this? Like why Israel
been a long time. It's
initiated
been
this?
they've been planning this for a long time. This isn't something like that's just now. It's still from that attack and all of that. They're still like on them. But when they went to now, they bombed nuclear facilities, and they specifically went after head scientists within Iran. So they've taken out like the most brilliant minds in Iran, like when it comes to like nuclear energy and all of that type of stuff. So now Iran's struck the first time, it hit the Iron Dome, nothing penetrated. On the second time, it did penetrate. So
Really?
that,
Oh wow.
yeah, it penetrated. So I'm like, now they're going to retaliate again, probably. And then there might be another retaliation. So this might go on for like a month or two, like we've seen before there's any type of like peace talk. I see USA is saying they do not want to get involved. Good thing, obviously. But at the same time, Israel's like they are the most powerful, in my opinion, the most powerful army in the world. So like they don't need help from anyone. Bro. They can cause some big problems. But at the same time, to the detriment of their own people. So that's where I say like war doesn't serve anyone, because at the end of the day, your own people die. So I think that like this is going to be like a smack on the wrist for Iran, like don't mess with us ever again type of thing. And they might just go in there and flatten it. I'm not saying they won't, but it like that's what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking like, okay, cool. I look at the price now and I'm like, I could see us dropping down to like 2.1, 2.2 on ETH. I think just on the 100 mark on Bitcoin. And I think Sol down to like 125 until there's like some type of peace talk. And then I think we're going to just absolutely send, because as soon as people get the confirmation that everything's cool now, I think that we could go a lot higher. But the other thing is store of value. That's the other thing that's been on my mind is we saw like in Russia, when the Russia-Ukraine conflict started off like a few years ago, we saw people rush for a store of value, and that was like gold and Bitcoin for a while. So we actually saw crypto pump with the war, and I wonder if that couldn't happen now. I wonder if people don't look for a store of value in Bitcoin, and we won't know it now. Maybe it's going to take things getting worse for people to look for that store of value when their local fiat is going down the drain. So it's a very interesting time. I feel like we're on a knife edge, but how long are we going to sit on this knife edge for? I think it could be a little while. I think that this isn't something that's going to be resolved overnight. And in the meantime, I think we'll see some choppy price action. So we might dip down to 2.2, back up to 2.4, back down to 2.3, like just chopping around this area. And then as soon as there's confirmation that like the conflict's I think we could see a pump. But again, it could go the other way. It could be things get worse, and then people are like, shit, what do I do with my money now? Because the US dollar is taking a hit, So, very interesting time.
I did see an article earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday, Crypto Sony, correct me up, that during a war, they increase the MTU money supply, and when, of course, they increase the money supply, then Bitcoin goes up and blah, 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 blah. But going back to your comment on timing, just in general, chopping sideways until for the summer, and then, September, it starts to ascend going into Q4. That coincides with another comment you made about negotiations and over the next month or two. So we are already in June 14th, which is crazy. My kid goes back to school on July 31st, which is only 6 weeks away. And then we're in August, right? And so that in a month and a half, is this going to be resolved? to the point where people are coming back from the summer vacations, their kids are back in school, they're getting back to work. Russia, Iran and Israel is starting to some degree resolve. I don't know what that might look like. That timing all seems to fit very, very too well almost together, which is interesting. I don't want to go down a conspiracy theory rabbit hole at all, but I thought that was an interesting kind of coincidence. So you think we're gonna stay above 100 and chop sideways? You don't think we're gonna have like some crazy dip down to the high 70s like we had talked about in the past? You think we're past that point of, I don't want to say past the point of no return, but past the point of that happening?
It would take a black swan event on a black swan event for that to happen. So,
okay.
So in other words, in my mind anyway, it would take like now with this like uncertainty for there to be another hit, but that hit come from like crypto itself. So like a big hack or an insolvency with one of the something like that would definitely send us down. But as long as we don't have any extreme news, I don't see us going below 100 again. I really don't. And
interesting.
Yeah,
what about you, Stunner? Or Peanut?
Yeah, jump in.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting too. Like, I think it's like the double-edged sword. I know sometimes when I'm on X, for example, you know, I like to kind of like poke the bear sometimes and just be funny with some of my responses where it's like, oh, time to time to short the market, or I'm sure 80 or 70K Bitcoin will look good, but and while, like, all jokes aside, as you were saying, Rick, I mean, it would take some pretty substantial, I believe, serious events for things to drop even, let's say, like 90K. I think there's something too about that 100K mark that so many people talked about, I'm sure, for ages and ages and ages. Even when, we had some of those run-ups, back in the day when it was, surging up to like the low 20s, and then we saw massive retracements. It would take, like you said, I believe, whether it's a hack or some sort of exploit, or even maybe, certain people maybe deleveraging, or it would take a large amount of money, I think, for people to even be moved or scared, in some type of direction like that. But I see it as, people will, and I don't know if you guys have it in front of you or can dig. I'd be curious to see where a lot of orders are placed too on the market. I'm sure there's going to be people that will do whatever they can to protect that 100K mark. Like, I'm sure there's people that have long set up, or people that are there ready to basically defend the line. Again, it's more than, I would say, even just Bitcoin maxis, but just people that have a belief in that digital asset in today's day and age. I mean, even some of the traditional systems that have gotten obviously super heavy into ETFs and are trying to kind of merge two worlds together in a way. I'm sure there's people that, again, people that aren't even involved in anything like crypto related as we know, but I'm sure there's people, again, calling whoever their financial advisor is, or whoever their person is, where I'm sure other people are waiting for dips. And so, again, I think it would have to be an enormous amount of pressure to even move it substantially below. I mean, again, I think people are waiting on the sidelines. So it's interesting, though. Last point I'll share on this, though, is that with what's happening internationally, I think for most of us, I think some of the bombing had happened, I think, when we were sleeping, if I remember correctly. And so you take into consideration what's going on there. I think you guys were covering maybe a little bit. I know the U.S. is kind of jumping in and trying to help or aid. And then, of course, what's even just happening here in the stateside. To me, I've always or I'll say this, over the last several months, or I'd probably say the last couple of years, especially when, 2020, the world kind of flipped upside down, is that I try to dig beneath or below the surface a little bit more when situations like this happen. You think about something pretty crazy internationally, some crazy stuff domestically happening here, where it almost seems like a lot of times when these types of events align, I'm a believer. Like, I think like that there's some sort of like strategy and obviously planning behind it, to where different people in the world or their government may be trying to shift our attention or focus elsewhere, again, without going like too far into politics or anything. But I always find it interesting when some of these events happen, and the magnitude of just how big they actually are. I try to kind of just like pause, not get too invested or too sucked into any one thing, because to me it just seems like they're trying to take our attention and eyes away from other things that they may try and, I don't know. Again, it could be for anyone. Again, not like a certain political party or anything, but just the world as a whole, where it's like, okay, what else is going on that certain people don't want us to see?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, right? A couple days ago, Circle had an IPO, and actually, I think was it yesterday?
That went absolutely insane.
Right, went absolutely insane. Then Peter Thiel's backed crypto exchange Bullish files for an IPO. Hasn't happened yet, but files for an IPO. So there are a lot of positive kind of tailwinds, catalysts happening on the crypto side of things right now, and that is interesting. And coupled with the fact of what's going on in the real world with Israel and Iran, but Bitcoin, if we pull up, I don't know if you saw the bubble chart up, but Bitcoin on the week is still up. It's only up 1%, but it's still up when the rest of the world, the rest of the stock market is probably, I'd have to look, but I'm sure is not up 1%. I think there are people there that are trying to protect that line in the sand, right? The people who got into the Circle IPO and the people who are trying to, the Peter Thiel network that are trying to launch this, or not launch, but have this bullish IPO. Of course, the Bitcoin ETF, of course, MicroStrategy. Like, there's a lot of people invested in the success of Bitcoin, regardless of what is happening in the world, which is an interesting lens to kind of view things through. I don't know. It seems like there's so much going on, but at the same time, it's business as usual, which is weird to say. But yeah, Bitcoin, is still at 105. If World War III was going to happen, I think we would be down in the 80s or 70s range, and not, down or not up 1% on the week, which is kind of weird to think about. I want to let's shift gears a little bit. I don't want to talk the entire time about Iran and Israel, but now that we kind of have a baseline for where the market's at, Rick, you mentioned something about Oracoin, and I'll be honest, I haven't heard anything about it, so you're gonna have to.
I'm stunned that you haven't heard about it. I am stunned that you have. Peanuts, have you heard about it?
Oh my gosh, dude! I've seen so many people posting.
How did I
about
miss
it.
this?
I'm like, what is this? What is
So,
this? What happened?
So strap yourselves in, guys. Look at this.
I'm getting my popcorn.
Yeah,
bro. This is where we at right now in the.
Hold on, let me get your screen up there. Let me find it. There it is.
Which is wild, bro.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so these guys, 215 addresses spent $4 million to buy 30% of this coin, and the price jumped over 70x in one day. Look at this.
What the heck?
This chart was.
Wait,
dead,
Rick,
bro.
do you have it on screen? I don't see it.
Yeah, yeah, I see it on ours.
Oh,
Are you
okay.
on the?
I'm on mobile. That's probably why.
Oh,
Okay, keep going.
Yeah, so basically this coin just went absolutely bananas, but Bubble Maps investigated it, and it was just 200 people that put 4 million, what was it, 4 million into this chart, And now let me show you guys this this chart because it's actually sickening. Just give me 1 second. Let me just get it up for you.
That was Iridium too.
Yeah, bro. I actually, you know, obviously, of course, I held this coin. But yeah, I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys something here. So look at this. Look at this coin. Oh, sorry. Share this tab instead. Look at this, right? I bought this coin, bro. Look.
When did you buy it? Oh, right there.
Yeah, I mean, look, I didn't buy that much. What did I buy? I think 3,000 Aura. So I don't even know what that would be now. That's like, okay, it would be 400. I spent like $70, so it would be. But look at this chart. Just look at this. Look, it was dead. It was sitting at 300, not even left. It was sitting at like, bro, look at this, dead completely, 100K market cap, and then it just went kapow in one day. And this is all the cabal, bro. This is them.
It was a coordinated effort by the cabal.
Yep, they coordinated this shit, bro. And now what it's caused is it's caused that like FOMO of like, oh, meme coins can like go crazy, you know, can basically like 70x overnight, which in reality, I mean, they can't. Like this is a very, very like like look at those bars there. Look at that. Look how that was just coordinated. And Bubble Maps went and they investigated this shit, and it was all like, it was all connected. Look at this. All of the wallets
Oh, that's
connected.
fascinating. That's so cool, that visual. That's crazy.
Yeah, so these are all the wallets. Like these are all
So
wallets.
it's 1, 2, 3, 4, so 7 major wallets, maybe 8 major wallets.
Yeah, and then like a bunch of little smaller guys that they
Yeah.
obviously got to jump in as well. But like the main guys, like these are the guys here that made the money. And
But it's still holding at 0.15 right now, which is interesting.
look at this.
Oh, look at that. Holy smokes. How many different wallets is that? So what is this? Where does this project go from here? Is this going to completely dump and go to zero, or are they going to?
I've always thought this is a good meme coin because the name Aura, you know, it's very like in at the moment. The kids of today, they love Aura and all of that. So I always thought it is a good meme. But having said that, now the problem is 30% of the supply is in these few hands, and it's like they're holding up this floor. As soon as they decide to sell, this shit's over. So I think that they maybe in their minds are like, this can go higher and then we can make more. But I think that as soon as they see like even now, like some volatility, you know, down 7% on the day, you could see one just massive red candle come out. So it's a very risky game right now. I mean, I saw it yesterday and was at like 7 cents, and now it's sitting at like 16 cents. So I do feel a little bit of regret, even not buying it yesterday. But if I'm feeling that regret, knowing that it's a scam, what are these other normies, not normies, but like people who have been in meme coins for like, you know, a couple months or this is their first cycle, they're sitting there thinking now, oh my God, like I can become a millionaire. And so what are they going to do? They're going to just we're going to go back into that like whole LA Vape Cabal meta again, I feel. Well, you know, the OGs aren't going to allow that to happen, but I think the newer people coming in are going to get bamboozled by these guys, because this is what they wanted. They like, so think about it now. The people that called this coin, because there would have been those people that were on like the inside the circle and they called it to their Telegram groups. Next time they call something, that shit's going to send, because everyone's going to think.
Case in point, we're talking about it now, right? So now everybody who's watching this is going to look at it and be like, "Ooh, do I get in? Do I not get in?" It's at 150 million. You know, some people are going to be thinking, "Is this the next Shiba? Is this the next Bonk? Is this the next Doge? Can this 10x to 1.5 billion?" Could it? It could.
No, bro, look, top 10 holders, they hold 14%, right?
Yeah.
That's not so bad when you think about it, but when you look at the market cap size, that is a lot.
Mm.
So,
But 24-hour transactions, 103,000 transactions.
they're sitting with 14 million, bro. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, there is only 7 million liquidity. That's where the problem comes in. You see,
It means that they can wipe it down to
it's
7.
not even
And here's
10%. It's
Mm.
5% liquidity. That's nothing.
Yeah.
If so, in other words, if one of these whales, let's look at the holders. If one of these whales decides that they're out, and they decide to die, it's over. It's
Yeah.
over. Like if one of these guys sell, like what is that? So 14, Jesus. What is that? Let me just.
What are you doing? 2%? The top
even if
one?
they
And
go ahead.
and that's where that's where it becomes quite scary. I mean, you gotta think of, again, just that, like, liquidity. Can you get additional people to, even, like, are people incentivized? Like, is there skin in the game in the first place? I mean, and that's where, like, obviously you guys know a thing or two, being in the space for a very long time. Like, that would be the biggest move. Like, if people have serious funds and they really want to make a ton of money, it is 100% in providing LP. I mean, being able to make money basically whenever, obviously, again, within like a range too, and you're playing with fire a little bit as well as too. But I mean, to think that, if you're pumping, I don't know, like, what, Rick, what's their 24-hour volume right now?
52 million.
Holy. So I mean, you think about it too, like, if you can even capture a fraction of that, like
1% is $500,000.
Yeah, like, that's still insane, like, so that's where I think that usually ends up being the biggest area of concern. Yeah, for a token that's kind of as big as it has, only 7 million in liquidity, like, that's that's insane.
All it takes is them to clip 25% on one wallet.
I mean, no, well, bro, you look at these wallets that I'm showing you now.
Yeah.
Look at this, bro. One wallet, bro, is holding here 2.3 million. Look, 7-day trade, 000. This is someone's alt wallet, bro. This is someone sent this to another wallet. So they've got multiple wallets. So that means
whether they're going to rug the whole thing, or they are going to stack and keep clipping it and then making excuses or doing things like that, regardless of how it's going to happen, you can see the red flag. I vet projects. This is glaring with red flags of just that your exit liquidity if you are in this. And that's why you have to remember to look at these things like Rick is showing you guys, because, and like Peanut said, even if you clip 10% of one of these bags, that's enough to cause a massive, because of how much volume is going in of people and transactions, it is going to wreck the chart, and people will bail as soon as they think it's done. And, and even if they clip small chunks here and there, if you watch this for a bit, it's either going to rug or it's going to end up being a chart that just keeps getting clipped by whales that are holding the supply.
What are the socials? Are they saying anything on Twitter, or what's kind of the reaction online right now?
Everyone's saying, "Oh, this is cabal." Like, everyone knows that this is a cabal thing. Like, it's not, bro. Everyone knows it. So I don't think that, like, the people that are getting bamboozled are like the ones on TikTok and all of those people, because they're looking at this going, "Oh shit, this, this can go." Like, bro, it's a good con, bro, because now anything that they do, they're basically going to be able to, like, pull off another one of these easily. It's just crazy, bro. It's like a cascade. Like, remember when, I'll give you an example. Remember when there was that meta of, like, send money to, like, a random wallet? Do you remember that shit? It was like Ben.eth, the Ben BitBoy, just send money to this wallet and then we'll give you the token. Because it worked the first time and people made a lot of money off it, everyone starts talking about it. And then there's, like, this FOMO, like, rush for it. Like, and that's exactly what's happening. Like, what will happen now is there's going to be FOMO because of this, because people are seeing, plus 7,000% in a few days, or
in a
21,000%.
day. Yeah.
They think, I've seen it already, bro. I found the next aura. I see it, bro. People have already been saying that on the timeline. I found the next aura. I found the next aura. That's the new meta. Let's look for the next aura. When this is all a game, it's all set up. It's a few whales that have gone and pumped this token. This isn't natural. This isn't something that all of a sudden caught virality and went crazy overnight. This was a manufactured, planned thing that was laid out, and they executed the plan perfectly. And now it's got volume because people from the outside are looking at it and they don't know the shit that we're talking about. They just see a token going up. So they think, oh, this can probably keep going up. Right. They don't understand the tokenomics. They don't understand that only 7 million in liquidity, when the top holders, a lot of them are holding 2.5 million, is very dangerous. One of them clips out of that and it's game over. That this chart will tank like crazy. And I mean, you can see this pullback here. I don't know, like you could see they're clipping out here hard. Like these are all them clipping out. Boom, 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 boom. And the thing is, they're still sitting on so much bag. So they're not going to just nuke it down, because then that kills all of their bags. So
kills the volume.
They'll clip out, and then even buy back some and like make it like seem organic. And then they'll clip out again, clip out again, clip out again, clip out again. And watch, they'll clip all the way down to here. And then they'll rinse, repeat, do it the same. Make it like it's organic volume here again, organic volume, and then clip out again. And they'll keep doing that until they have no more supply. But by the end of that, they've got millions and millions of dollars. This is a big game. This is a massive game. And people right now are getting sucked into this game on X, on TikTok, on all these platforms. And it's terrible for the space. It's terrible for Web3.
Have you guys seen Dumb Money on Netflix about GameStop?
Yeah.
Are we gonna see a LA Vape Cabal version of that in 5 years, and where they're gonna throw this chart up there?
No, because it's greedy, bro. It's not for the people. That's where it's different.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like when you look at it, when you watch Dumb Money, is the VCs versus the people. Is it going to now be like the LA Vape Cabal against the people? And
that's where I feel it's going.
Yeah,
that's where I feel it's going. That is the way I feel it's going. Like they are powerful though. That's the thing. They've got the money. It's like these big corporations. They've got the money. That's the thing. It's very difficult. You need to be so coordinated to take them down. You need one big voice that everyone follows. Like like Keith Gill,
like Zach XBT or something.
Yeah, like someone needs to coordinate it and say, right, we're going to take these guys down now. We're going to track their wallets, and anything they buy, we're going to basically blacklist or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like a poison pill. Like anything that comes from any of their wallets that they're affiliated with automatically has like a poison pill, where like nobody touches it.
Yeah, even building an app, bro, that like connects to their wallets, and like it's in a Google extension that warns you like this is a Vape Cabal
That's
coin.
Smart. I love that. Let's run that through ChatGPT. See if we can build something. Protect your wallets. Oh man,
shit, bro.
Crazy. I mean, crypto's wild. I feel bad for people who are going to go through their first rug pull on this cycle, right? Who are going to go through their first Luna or FTX collapse or whatever, right? All the stuff that we've lived through in the last 4 or 5 years. Like I remember that pain. I remember the heartache and the feeling and the pit of my stomach. And there are some people who are going to go through that for the first time in the next month or 2 or 6, and man, I wish there was a way we could put a little bubble wrap around those people.
We're working on it. We got the Green Pill Collective coming together with all of us. So I do think that it's just awareness. So the more that we all understand these things, we sit on these lives. Between our accounts right now on this live, we've got over 1,200 people watching. So nice. And I'm just saying that as obviously we've had thousands before, but having these times where we really break like the trends down that are negative, these cabals, we talk about this, the more that these communities all share this out to their communities, I think we will slowly get rid of the cabal syndrome that's going on in crypto. But it just takes us to continue not being quiet. And this is the first cycle we've really had anyone really kind of stepping up to be like, hey, this is what's going on. So now that we've caught on, hopefully we'll see a downtrend in these cabal and these setups.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, so we already talked a little bit about price action, where we go from here, and some of the stuff that's going on with in the public sector. Obviously, Circle had the IPO. Bullish is trying to get an IPO. I just saw something that now we might see Kraken and Gemini. Do all these IPOs, and obviously we had the Bitcoin ETF a year or two ago, does all of this kind of give crypto validity, credibility, a sense of safety, where we're going to start seeing mass onboardings of folks from, the Fidelities and Vanguards and Charles Schwab, because now they can buy Circle on the stock market. Now, pretty soon they'll be able to buy Kraken and Gemini and Bullish, and of course the Bitcoin ETF. Does this kind of now lend some credibility to the sector? And are we going to start to see things kind of even out a little bit and be a little bit more predictable and get away from this big cabal garbage?
Yes. Sorry. I was trying to get to my mic button. No, I wasn't sure Rick was going to say anything either about it. So I do think that, it's going to be less over time with all of this. It's
the peaks and troughs are going to flatten.
Yeah, right. The more that we've talked about it, there's only 3 trillion in the overall market, all of that. So, in the stock market's infancy, it was very volatile as well. Same thing in crypto, we see the volatility, but we were talking about mass adoption numbers, I think last week, right? I asked Grok that question, and, that's once we get to that I'd say that 10 trillion, that 20 trillion, that 30 trillion mark that's funneling into crypto globally. That's when we get to that lower peaks and valleys, less spikes of volatility, and it'll trade more traditional from what people are used to in a stock market, with, an 8% swing being absolutely, catastrophic. Yeah, exactly. So we'll definitely see that. It's just because right now there's a cabal in the overall market, right? The people that own Bitcoin, that own a lot of it, they can swing the chart 10%. So, that's, once they can't do that anymore, or it would take a few of them to do that, we won't see this anymore. So temporary, but obviously growing pains as we're here early,
Right. So crypto market cap 3.39 trillion, gold market cap 23.156. I believe this is current. So, a little bit more than a 6x from here just to match the gold market cap. So I think we have a ways to go before things are legitimized and some of these wild fluctuations are going away. What is this? Today, we're proud to announce that Stripe is acquiring Privy. I haven't heard of Privy. I don't know Stripe. What's Privy?
Privy Wallet is like a wallet that you get when you sign up to a lot of these Web3 apps, and it's basically a wallet that you don't need to get like a seed phrase for and everything. It normally connects to like your email and stuff, so it's perfect for onboarding normies. And so Stripe has acquired it, and what they said they're going to be doing is kind of looking to integrate crypto stable coins into their model. So this is the biggest onboarding event since we've been in Web3, because Stripe is like, you guys know, Stripe is like one of the biggest in the world when it comes to money, like sending money across, and I mean, it's kind of like a PayPal rival, and with them partnering with Privy now means that basically any wallet can be a crypto wallet now. So any Stripe wallet, you'll also be able to now send crypto through Stripe. So so this is like massive news. It's one of those like news things that like maybe people don't really pay much attention to. Yeah, it goes under the radar. But honestly, like this is massive. This is massive. Like they've worked on like some of these Farcaster, Hyperliquid, some of these massive things is all Privy wallets, and even like gaming. A lot of the gaming stuff use Privy, and so this to me is like what mass adoption looks like. This is now we're talking like real shit. So I'm very happy to see this, and it's not something, like I say, people are really talking about too much on the timeline, but it is a major news event. Yeah.
The other thing is too, I'm trying to find a post on it, but I can't find it right now. I don't know if they've even made a post, but if you have Coinbase, they have a new card that you can apply for, and it's essentially getting like 5% back in Bitcoin, but I think it's more of a credit card through Coinbase. Yes, this. So if you can,
Gemini just came out with one, so they're trying to launch their own.
So I applied for this because if you go onto the app right now and you have Coinbase, you'll be able to apply as an early adopter. And I love their card. The Coinbase card that you can get earnings back of any token you hold, a percentage back based on what you spend, and it converts it into USD. You can spend it anywhere. I love that thing, but this is even cooler because obviously your credit and things like that, and as Coinbase is moving into, obviously there's going to be some centralization to this. This is going to be a really cool way for you to essentially quote borrow or take a loan, but know that you're borrowing against something, if you do it at the right time, that's going to actually help you pay less in the long run. You'll get a better credit score while also getting more money or spending less because you spent it through Bitcoin leverage. It goes back into the Michael Saylor theory on that. But
like you were saying, Crypto Stoner, it's double-edged sword. That could also go on like the negative too. But man, if you time it right, and you have you get it maybe at a favorable price, whatever it might be. I mean, not only could it be in your advantage in just like one way, I mean, it could be like a significant way, like multiple ways too.
And it's definitely
go ahead.
No, I was just saying you're right. It's definitely could be a trap, and you have to be careful knowing traditional finance in that world, right? That they kind of want you to lose a little bit because they're going to make more, but at the same time, because it's available for the people that are attentive to all of this, you really could make a very smart purchase at the right time. Like if you were to buy today, let's say, right? Like if you were to take a loan, because maybe not today, I'm just as an example. Let's say the market crashed 20%, and that's where you take your Bitcoin loan, and then it rebounds back up to an all-time high. In that sense of taking that loan out, you actually owe less because of the amount that it rebounded back.
Rick, do we know how much the acquisition was? How much the Stripe acquiring Privy was?
I think it was one of the biggest ever. Let me get the.
Because on Privy, it said that 75 million wallets or accounts. You mentioned mass adoption or mass onboarding. 75 million people. That's a big number. So that's.
Stripe is attached to your banks too, y'all. So, this is that moment that we've been talking about where if people, Chase has already announced that they're working into crypto. They're working in blockchain technology now. Obviously, this is what's going to come next. And this is that onboarding ramp for setting up mass adoption. You can't just mass adoption overnight, but we see it. That's why we're, also sharing this with all of you guys, because this is those little bridges that we need for the people that don't want to have wallet seed phrases. This Stripe is going to attach to your bank. You're probably going to be able to hold tokens on the bank side, the infrastructure there. So this is massive. Stripe is a banking utility that's getting involved with crypto.
Well, yeah, I mean, you think Shopify, anytime you check out on Shopify, usually Stripe is an option, right? And now Stripe is offering USDC payments at checkout. So it's happening, right? It's happening. It's just slowly, brick by brick, is happening. It's not this it's not going to be this massive avalanche of adoption. There's going to be this brick by brick by brick, and then we're going to wake up 5 years from now and realize that mass adoption happened right in front of our eyes, which is kind of wild to think about. Did you find or did you ask Grok? What did Grok say?
So they're saying 1.29 billion is what I'm seeing. But let's see.
And they may not have made that number public either.
Yeah, they don't have to make it a public either.
Sure. Yeah, I think there's just speculation.
So yeah, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on
million.
in crypto. There's a lot going on in the real world. Again, we're already at June 13th. It's just wild. Summer is.
Oh, this is also another thing. Solana ETF supposed to be coming next month, which would be crazy.
It'll be the cheapest ETF for crypto that you can get right now, right?
Yeah. But you have to wonder what the inflows would be. But I mean, still, it definitely would be. I mean, you'd see at least 1 billion in inflows. Like I don't know. I think that like it could definitely send it to like 400 or 500. Not financial advice.
Yeah, so there's still stuff happening. I mean, even though sell and May go away. We're in the dog days of summer. There are still a lot of things happening, a lot of positive things happening, and it seems like there are more positive things happening in crypto that outweigh everything else that's happening, and maybe even in the real world. And not to make light of the subject, but that are helping to establish kind of that resistance point for Bitcoin and keep it above that 100K. So I don't know. It's going to be fascinating to see what happens over the next 3 months, 2 to 3 months, as we reach the tail end of summer and then get into back to school season, and then get into the Q4 shopping season around September, October. So it's buckle up. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? But if Rick is right and CryptoStoner are right, we could be setting ourselves up for a massive September and Q4 to cap off 2025, and then 2026. It's only 6 months away, 7 months away. So it's kind of crazy to think about. All right, we are up against an hour. I do have another call coming up, so I got to jump. But guys, if you have things you want to talk about on Spaces or on these lives, interesting projects, interesting people, definitely hit us up. We would love to have more guests on and talk about what's going on in crypto, what's going on in AI, even what's going on in the real world, and make sure that these lives are about things that you guys are interested in and not just stuff that we're interested in. CryptoStoner, what do we got to end the show?
Well, might have a little giveaway if we want to do that. We got some Solana deads. But we actually had all of our OGs have officially minted out their spots.
Nice.
The whitelist is closing after today. So we're getting pretty close on our whitelists that have minted, but we are giving a couple of those away. So anyone that would want to mint today or this weekend, if you want a whitelist spot, you guys just need to hit me up in the DMs, say I want a spot. If you hit me up in the DMs, you tell me you want a spot, I'll get you on our whitelist because this does close tomorrow. So this will be the last day. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been a good week. You know, with you guys have seen how the market has been. Today is our 1 week anniversary since launch. So, you know, to me, minting 12% of, you know, almost, you know, the public is over a half soul. I think we've done a really good first week job. I'm super proud of the team and just everyone that's been putting in love and work into what we're building. We have a lot of people helping with our replies and the account stuff. So it's just been really cool to have a team that's enjoying what we're doing and having fun with this. We're not trying to rush anything. We do have, if you hold 10 of our Solana Deads, you get a hoodie for free. If you go to our website, you can claim the hoodie with the Solana Deads logo on it. If you hold any of these NFTs, you hold one, you get to play the little shooter game with the leaderboards that we have on the website.
Nice.
And then if you hold 20 over time, we actually had 2 people that have already claimed it. But if you hold 20, you get a pair of Italian custom shoes.
Nice.
So we actually have,
Italian
Hold on, let me
shoes.
find the post and I'll pull it over there. But yeah, so basically, if you hold 20, we have a Italian shoe that we were basically doing as a pre-order for Solana Deads with the logo on it inside the tongue. But we also decided that, you know, we could do something even a little bit more fun and have one that has the person's NFT that they want to have on the shoe if they supported us and had 20. So yeah, that's one of our hidden. The other thing that we're doing that I'm super stoked about is here, I found the post too. Boop. So these are the shoes. These are one of the shoes for the Solana Deads. So this is the one that
Oh, wow.
Gage, which thank you, Gage. He claimed this for. He's one of the first.
Nice. He's got his own guy in there.
He has a 101
Yeah.
as well. So yeah, he's
That's cool.
just a massive supporter. So yeah, super fun with that. And then also when we mint out, when we hit the 3,333rd mint, we are also giving away a Quest VR3 to whoever is that's the bounty on the last mint. So you know, we have a lot of other bounties throughout the collection as well for getting 1 Solana. And when you get certain mints, so we're just trying to incentivize that, you know, we also are giving back the whole time as we get through the mint process here. And it's just been really fun. So yeah, if anyone wants to be a part of the project though, hit me up with a DM. I've got a couple of spots to give away for whitelist before they close out tomorrow. So thank you for giving me a sec there.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, go check out this project. Everyone behind it are cool, like upstanding citizens of Web3. So definitely.
Can I?
Yeah. I would say definitely get involved. Definitely hit up Crypto Stoner in the DMs and support the Solana Desk because they're doing some cool stuff out there. All right, Rick, why don't you give us a few parting words and then we'll close up shop for the week.
Yeah, so Shiba stuff's been going very well. Thank you to everyone for the support. Taken over their floor price up nicely. Only I think let's have a look. I don't think we have too many listed right now, but we've done incredible. The community's just been so solid in supporting. So let me show you guys what we've been. Not that I'm obsessed with the floor or anything, but just to show you the support, man. It's just been like amazing. So you've seen, like, you know, we came right from here down at the bottom.
Let me make sure your screen. Sorry, let me get your screen up there. There we go.
So we're down bad. Someone weethed what 40 of them, I think, around here. So that was like a big, like we went like below 0.1 and now we back up. Sitting at a healthy floor, I think, you know, for only ever taken over a week. Sitting at $70, which is decent compared to us being at $10, you know, when I took over.
Nice.
But the main thing I like is listed is only 59. So if you look at this, I mean, there's really not that many Shibas listed. which I'm very proud of. And people are delisting them as we go on. So we've had a few people wanting to exit. Obviously, it's normal. You know, people have been holding for 3 years. But yeah, things have been going very, very, very well on that front. And we're doing spaces all the time. And yeah, so I'm just grateful to the community for the support. I do have Sheba Saturday tomorrow, 4:20 p.m. EST, if you guys want to pull up. But just one last thing that I did promise I would mention is I, at the moment, am working with Nana, who's an ape. And he has Mutant Records, which he's been running for a long time. And this pass has been made by Rita from G's on Ape, the founder of G's on Ape. He made this pass, and the artwork anyway. But this pass is a music pass for royalty-free music. There is a lot of well, I'm helping Nana out. We're kind of going at this together. Very, very small collection, but the utility behind it is we'll build songs for people. So we've made a couple of songs together already. Obviously my background in sound engineering, and then with the AI, and then he's also mastering everything. So yeah, it's come together really nicely. And I mean, we said, yeah, let's mint this out over like a week or two, you know, because we don't want people who are going to flip. Like, that's definitely not what we're trying to do. We're trying to onboard people who are actually get value out of it. So I'm just trying to find the post that has a bit more info for you. But basically, like, we're going to be giving people, oh, here you go. So it's royalty-free music, all the GM Ape Chain songs, sound packs. If you're a streamer and you want some like instrumentals or anything for your streams, if you want custom songs made for your birthday party, your wedding, your cousin's bar mitzvah, it doesn't matter. You can hit us up by being a holder. And then you're also going to get airdropped a whole bunch of songs as well. But yeah, there is going to be a lot of utility behind this. And like I say, very small collection. We've already minted out. We've already minted out 48 of the tokens. So there's only 21 left, and it's not actually that much when you look at it. I think it's like $40 or something like that. And from that you'll get, you know, music for free and all of that. So a little bit of a shill there, but like I say, we don't want any flippers. This is just for people who will get value out of it. A lot of project founders have hit us up because they want music for their projects, you know. So we custom making songs for the projects. I don't know if I can play one on the outro. Is that possible, or do you think the sound's not?
Give it a shot. Let's see.
We'll try. You guys might have to mute up for this, just for a minute. I hope it doesn't echo, but I'm just worried. By the way, nice. Try this. Can you hear it?
Yep.
That was clear. That was
on stage, freaking animal, mutant record. We ain't just rapping, we deploy. APEDOBAYC NFT freaks in L3 streets, GMGEEZ GOPs go live, HOPC got heat, watch them thrive, EVM WEASM stylist drop, OFT flow, we chain hop non-stop, Camelot builds while the DEX stay tight, we don't just mint, we ignite. With APE in the bag, we ride that wave. Governance locked, we vote, we pave, we vibe, we grind. This ain't no game. You see us build, remember the name. No middleman, no smoke and mirrors. Smart contracts spit from chain-based sinners. One chain, one voice, mute design. We don't sign deals, we sign on chain.
Yo, that is sick, dude. That is sick.
AYC, BAYC, traits on blast. No roadmap needed, we move fast. GOP's got chaos, L3 got plans. DAOs in sync, all govern hands. AIP rollouts, token flows. NFT volume when that alpha blows. GM spaces, cross-chain rails. Mutant records, we don't do fails. APE in the bag, we ride that wave. Governance locked, we vote, we pave. We vibe, we grind, this ain't no game. You see us build, remember the name. No middlemen, no smoking mirrors. Smart contracts, spiff and chain base centers. One chain, one voice, we in design. We don't sign deals, we sign on chain. GEECGOBS, GM forever. No borders, no busts, no breaks from code to culture. Signed on chain. Mutant Records.
Yeah, so
That was
Damn.
sick, dude.
That was hot
sick.
fire, bro.
Yeah.
Damn, I would have mixed that in my sets when I was DJing back in the day. I would have put that. I would have had that on repeat.
yeah, bro. Are we quite proud of it? It's just our first song that we've made. We plenty more to come, but yeah, just working together, just to make some bangers, bro. For like some music for the chain, everything on chain. People are going to be able to own these beats that we make, and then specifically, like, just imagine that was like for your projects. We'll make a track like that for your project so that you can use it on. You can use it on all social medias, on events, on spaces, but custom made music for our holders. So yeah, that's bro. It's like I say, it's just something that we love doing. So we decided to make a tiny mint, 69 pieces, and like I say, we thought this would take like a week. We were like, oh yeah, it's fine if this takes a week. We happy, and bro, in one day we almost minted out. So. Yeah, pretty crazy, and very grateful to everyone that supported. And yeah, we're going to be coming with the bangers, hoping to release music every Tuesday. Not hoping, we will be, and then every day for GM Ape Chain. So yeah, bro, fun vibes, and I'm loving it.
That's awesome. Yeah, you got to make one for the show. You got to get one for our show.
I do for the high intelligence and for weed as well, bro. I must make you guys a banger to use.
Do it. That'd be cool.
But for the show, definitely like an intro song and outro song.
I think a little intro video, outro video for us to kind of get people hyped every day and on the way out would be really dope, guys.
Like a legit music video, like what you were showing up there. That'd be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, that's it for me, guys. I appreciate it.
Next week, you got it coming. I'll have it ready for next week.
Yeah. Sure. All right. There you go. We got something to look forward to next week. Appreciate y'all. That's it. That's it for me. Have a great weekend, and we will talk to you guys next week. Take care. See you. Bye.
Doesn't work.